guys, welcome to day 52 of 319 days to becoming a full-time artist. For those of you who are new, I am embarking on a little journey to hopefully become a full-time artist by August next year. My goal is to be able to fully sustain myself with just art. I want to be able to sell my paintings and I want to be able to make a better living by just creating art itself, rather than only relying on my teaching. I currently teach art. That is my main and sole income. I'd like to grow that to kind of help contribute with some of the fees, but I think my main goal is to try and sell more art. So hopefully by August next year, I will have sold a few paintings. My aim is to set up a exhibition, and I think I had a few other goals, but those are my main goals. But yeah, sell a few paintings, set up an exhibition, and have some of my art in a cafe or in a gallery somewhere. And yeah, be able to sustain myself with my art. This is Bjorn. He is always here in the videos. He's my little sidekick and my cheerleader. Thank you guys for following this journey so far. And if you haven't subscribed or clicked the like button, please do so and leave something in the comments about the journey so far and what you think. So today is day 52 and I wanted to share with you guys a little bit of what I've been up to. I had a little mini celebration, but it was kind of a very quick video for day 50, and I wanted to sort of recap about what's been going on so far and how things have been going. From day 1 to day 30, it's been quite... There was quite a lot going on. I did like an art fair and I made some friends there and sold a few prints that I had. I worked on 2 paintings, trying to finish them, and a bunch of other things. And then I was also prepping for some classes that I was going to launch this autumn, which have now started, and we're on week 4. And yeah, celebrating a few little wins. Between day 30 and day 50, I think I realized that I was slowing down a bit because I had done so much in the space of 30 days with a lot of postering and promotion and stuff for some of the classes that I wanted to start running in autumn. And like after my first week of classes had started, I was getting a bit burnt out. So I think between 30 and 50, things slowed down a little bit as I was kind of focusing more on my classes and trying to look after myself and a bunch of things. My partner got ill, I got ill, and then it was also just not great. But we're here and we're doing things. What I wanted to share today was that I did a little bit of journaling, and I've also been sketching a little bit more. I kind of had a few days to just chill, and I've been sketching a lot more in my book. So this is the one. So I've done a few little sketches. I'll show you guys. This is one of them. Been kind of limiting my palette a little bit. Been asking my partner to pick 3 colors, and then I've been making a sketch from those. This is one of her. She's been playing a little video game. This one is more than 3 colors because I picked them myself and I wanted to do a little sketch of her. And then this is one I did today. I was kind of enjoying like doing really bright colors. We went out to a little cafe today because we were feeling a bit better and we wanted to get out a little bit more. And then my last sketch today was this. So I did this little cup of my coffee, and what I was kind of thinking of was just like bright colors and how much they impact me as a person and my mood, because it's been kind of grey and we live in Scotland and autumn isn't the brightest. So it's starting to get a little bit dark earlier these days now that the summer is over. And so I started doing like a bunch of color swatches to see what colors I wanted to use. And after coloring this in, because it was such a grey day, I kind of tricked my brain with the yellows and the bright colors into making it feel like a kind of autumnal summery day, which really lifted my mood a lot. And I was thinking a lot about artists like Yayoi Kusama, and I don't know if you've ever seen this movie called Maudie. There's this movie out there called Maudie, who I would recommend watching it. It's really lovely. And I was just thinking about how they use art to help with what they're dealing with. So Yayoi Kusama has obsessive neurosis disorder, and she suffers from hallucinations, and her mental health she really struggles with. So her art is a form of kind of helping her with that and understanding it and making her feel like she can escape from it. With Maudie in the movie, I don't know a lot about this artist. I kind of want to research her a little bit more, but she was in this little house and she was brightening up the space, and she was dealing with like crippling arthritis, and she was like creating lovely folky kind of American art of things around her and sort of documenting it on the walls and on the windows and on these little panels and things. So just bringing in those little colors into her life brightened her day. And I never really sat down and thought about it that much, but I think today it kind of hit me in a way that I never really expected, of like being in a specific environment, of the weather changing and feeling a little bit down because I've been ill for a while. And yeah, so I think the colors really changed my perspective. Colors for me have been like a battle, because when I started art and I went to uni, I used not that much color. I mean, I started coloring and doing stuff when I was a little kid, and through a teenager, I was kind of like painting and things, but I wasn't really thinking about color and how to place it, because I hadn't learned about that just yet. And I didn't do any color theory throughout a lot of my education. There wasn't any formal education within it. It was more just expected that you learnt about it yourself. And a lot of my work then kind of shifted into, I guess, away from painting and into sculpture. So I wasn't really focusing on color. I was focusing on form and texture and the sort of object of the thing that I was looking at and what I was creating. So rather than focusing on color, I was just focusing on that. And so that became the main thing that I was looking at for many, many years. And it wasn't until I did illustration when I started looking at color a lot more. And after I finished my master's, where I was looking at, I think in my master's, I was getting a bit deeper with my work and thinking about the sort of psychology of things and our relationship to nature and things like that. And so that became quite my main focus within my practice. And then when I was doing my illustration degree, I was then thinking a lot about the psychology of colors and how that impacts people in terms of how they respond to things and stuff like that. So it wasn't until then I started really focusing on color for a while. And learning how to use it and how to put it into work, because I did a lot of children's book stuff and book covers, and just focusing more on design and colors and how we put them together is really important for that. And then for a while, I wasn't doing much art. I was doing more illustrative and more design stuff and working in that area. And then over the last couple of years, before I started teaching art, I was getting back into it again. And then I started teaching art in Glasgow and running workshops. And then I started thinking about color again. So it's been like this sort of big journey up and down with paint and color and how I've explored that. And then recently, because I've been teaching so much, I didn't have a lot of time to create my own work. So I set myself a goal last year to have a show, to just create work. And it doesn't matter if you sell anything or do anything else with it. It's just to force me to make work. So the deadline was there to help me create a bunch of paintings. And then I started thinking about color in a more realistic form rather than in an expressive form. And then recently, a few months ago after the show, I started experimenting with color again because I got in a bit of a rut. And then I did this thing where I made a bunch of swatches of all of the like tester paints that I had and all of the watercolors that I had. And I mixed them up and I blindly picked a bunch of them. And I started to get really into color again. And more, I think I was more thinking about like, oh, I really like how these colors go together, but even though they shouldn't go together. So in the past, I was kind of taught to like harmonize colors, complement them with each other, and contrast in that sense really worked. But then as I was doing this challenge, I was kind of thinking about, oh, well, okay, they don't necessarily have to work, and maybe I can make them work in a different way. So that's been really fun, and I've really enjoyed that. Today, I started thinking about color again. And so, yeah, I've had this kind of new love for color, and I really want to explore it more and how it impacts us and how I can really just push it a little bit more. So I think, yeah, I've been really enjoying that. And so that is what I was journaling about. I was kind of thinking about the warm colors and how they kind of made me feel lighter and happier on a day that is grey. And I think thinking about different artists and what it meant for them really made me think about it a lot more as well. And it also kind of brought me back to like being a kid. So I think the part of using really, really bright, super bright colors like these in here, I don't know if you can see that. There you go. And also using children's crayons. They were like £1 crayons that I got from my partner. She found them, I think, in like Tesco or something. Using them has made me think about what it's like when you're drawing as a child and what it's like to kind of just be immersed in it and really getting lost in creating. And as a little kid, I would draw and paint and create things all day long and really, really fixate on it. That's maybe some of my neurodivergence coming through, but in some way it was also like thinking of that escapism and the kind of worlds that I would create and really immersing myself into these things because they were really helping my mental health and calming me down and making me feel like I was in a safe space and I could really explore so many different things with all of these different colors, and they would impact my mood because they were really bright and really playful. So yeah, that was really fun. And do I have more to say on that? No. But that is all that I have for today. I'm going to share a little bit of my painting as well. I started a big painting today, finally. Been working on that, and that's been a bit of a slow process. I'm kind of waiting for it to dry, so I'll share a little bit more about that. And yeah, thank you guys for following, and let me know what you think about what I discussed today about colors and what they mean to you, and let me know what you think about the video, and let me know what colors mean to you and how you use them in your work or how they impact you. Do you have a favorite piece of artwork that makes you feel something in a certain way? And what is it about that piece of artwork that really fascinates you or makes you feel in that certain way? Is it the colors or is it the imagery? Yeah, let me know in the comments. And thank you guys for watching so far. And thank you for supporting. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.